everyone.
Hi, I'm Anne.
And I'm Kaz.
And these are our random thoughts.
We have been on hiatus. How do you take a break for so long?
I don't know the last time we made a video.
Last post?
I think our friends have been missing us.
I'm sure because it's been months and months and months. Like who does that?
I know, right?
But we're back.
Yep.
2023.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be more consistent. Maybe not.
Yeah.
So should we get right into it?
Yeah.
Okay. So our topic for today, I was thinking we could discuss being on the same page in relationships. You know, being at one accord with your partner about where your relationship is going.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is to be on the same page in terms of like what you want from the future with your partner?
Yeah. I think to be specific, when you enter into a relationship, you have to be straight, to lay down what you want to be in the relationship. If you want a long-lasting relationship, if you want marriage, if you want maybe just to be a relationship that is not taking you anywhere, I think it's all about being knowing what you want in the relationship and bringing it up to the person you are in a relationship with, so that you agree. If you find that you are not on the same page, then you'll know, okay, this is how I should handle this relationship. As I'm in this relationship, I'll be looking, my eyes will be wide open,
you'll know where you're
citing whoever I'll find who will be serious in marriage I can say maybe. Yeah, I think that's the only thing you can do, and it doesn't matter. Like if you are very straightforward, you meet someone, you tell them that my intentions is to find someone who is going to be with me for the rest of my life, than dilly-dallying, beating around the bush, I love you, I like you, blah, 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 yet you have your intentions. You know, it is so much paining when you have wasted a lot of time with someone and that person doesn't have any intention of marriage. You know, it really pains. You look at the time that you've invested in, it drains a lot. Relationships, it's a full-time job because
and this kid's a living sense.
It's
too hot to be disappointed.
Right?
Like
So to me, I think when you meet someone new, you just need to be straightforward. What do you want in that relationship? If you see that this person has the vibe or the things that you need in a man that you want to marry or you want to get married to, you take it up and you have a round table discussion. What do you think about this? Then when you see that this person is not serious, then you just know, okay, this is where I stop with this person, and leave your other hopes open.
True. I concur.
Yeah.
But also looking at something that could be a double-edged sword. You know, like not to call out the other gender, but you know the other gender is fickle. They really don't be knowing what they want. So what about in an instance where you thought you're on the same page? You've actually even discussed the future. Like everything is all biscuits and gravy. You think you're at one accord. You already planning, meeting the parentals, meeting the family, all that, talking about future plans, like, no, we're going to do this, possibly even tentatively setting a wedding date, what. And then months pass, and then you revisit the conversation as one does. And now the person's standpoint, they're basically gaslighting you. And into just saying that, no, I didn't think it was a serious discussion. What does one do in such an instance? Because at that point, I don't feel like you changed your mind. At this point, it's become more like a lie. Like you possibly lied because you knew what your partner wanted. So in order to keep them, you maybe pretended, can I say, that it was something that you wanted because you knew it's something that your partner wanted. But now your partner is invested. Does it just end, or do you expect your partner to change? Do you change? I'm confusion.
And I know, it's a lot of women face such situations, like you've already discussed. You know all what you want.
Extensively
discussed. The other gender is giving you the positive vibe of going ahead. Because what you only see, the other gender is good at pretense, of which our gender is not good at pretense.
Not at all.
Maybe on a few instances, but when it comes to love, when you love someone, you open up.
Very much so.
You open up and you will be very clear in whatever you do and whatever you say. But for them, you can't really know what is inside their heart, because there are so many girls or women that have been heartbroken. They've been in a pretense relationship, and then being in a pretense relationship, you really put 100% of your energies and time into this relationship, thinking this relationship is going to take you somewhere. It's like when you get a cup of milk and it has that cream, you sip the cream, it's cold, but as you go deeper, it burns your tongue. That's how our other gender is. Like they'll pretend like on the surface, but when you go deeper, it's something else. So to me, the advice maybe I can give when it comes to such incidences or scenarios, it's you take a step back. You take a step back. You don't stop the relationship or end the relationship, but you give yourself a distance from that person. You see how things will unfold, and don't give in your whole heart. Yes, because it will. Yes, because it will hurt you and it will damage you, because you've put everything into it. You have been trained, you've been hanging out together, you are doing everything together, and you are like, putting a bed of roses for you, but inside, when you jump onto the bed of roses, you just fall into the ditch. So I think you step aside, you control your gears, you put a brake on your car. True. So that you can at least reevaluate and then also think through, because sometimes it pains when you have put in a lot of time, when you have put in a lot of even talking to that person, having time for him, doing ABCD together, it really drains at the end of the day.
And then to just think of just like cutting it off, I'm sure maybe that's why a lot of us just like hang on in these relationships, because just the thought of like, you've developed this attachment, and when women attach, you are in it for the long haul. And this person has now possibly become like your closest friend, because generally a partner is supposed to be your best friend. And to probably think of just like cutting it off because your goals are now not aligning. So possibly now you start pretending also, no, I'm fine with not getting married, I'm fine with not having children, I'm fine with A, B, C, and D, even though inside you are dying. So that's not advisable as well. But also, to come back to your point of like, you need to set or to articulate what you want at the onset of a relationship. I've heard from people, very much like you scare a man off if you let your intentions known too early in the relationship. I could agree somehow 50%, but also the other side is now I've become so invested. We've dated for 1 year.
I know.
And then you're like, oh, I don't want to get married, I don't want to have children, I don't want to. And you're like,
but who does that anyway? How can oh no.
Because now you're just traveling under the assumption that you're both traveling to the same destination. But can't your friend is someone in Choma, you are going to lose that.
I know, right?
So, I think it's a double-edged sword. But like, I think definitely, as hard as it is, I think taking a step back to evaluate, as you said, is very necessary, because in this day and age, I think we should all try to make ourselves happy. At the end of the day, should live for you.
Yeah.
So if you are dying inside because your partner's goals are not aligning with what you want, then I think it's better to jump out of that ship while you can.
There is a story I was watching on YouTube. There is a lady who said, I got my husband on internet, but I was very specific. She wrote in her bio, she wrote,
exactly what
I'm looking for papers. I'm looking for marriage and papers to make me stay in UK.
Okay.
You know, she was very specific, not like the way other women, I'm a humble, God-fearing, like I need someone, you know, she was very straightforward.
Very
so the husband who scrolled through and met her, he was like, oh, who is this? Very straight, like me, I'm looking for papers and I want a man who is going to marry me. I have no time for playing around. So the husband went through, read it. At 6 days later, he sent a hi. She never responded. After 1 month, she responded. Then they reached on the dating time. They dated. The man was shocked, like most of the ladies on internet dating. They will say, I'm a very God-fearing.
You're selling yourself,
you know, like, but people want people who are very straightforward, who are real. You don't put pretense. If you're looking for papers and you're looking for a partner you want to stay with it for the rest of your life, you should even. And she said she went on different dates, but on each date, if she finds something bad about this man, she will update at a person with these characters. This don't inbox me. She was very specific, and when I heard her story, I was like, I think we need to be bold enough as women or as girls. We need to be bold enough, because when you are entering into a relationship, you know what you want.
Very much so.
You know what you want, and when you're entering into that relationship, you need to talk to the person you are entering into the relationship in.
I think communication is very important.
Are we going to be just friends with benefits? Are we going to say Are we going to be, you know?
Yeah. Or is it going to be more? I hate pretense more than anything in my life.
Me. I like people who are straight.
I
tell
need to be transparent.
Exactly.
Because now I'm invested, right?
Yeah.
My mind is already set, and my mind is very hard to reset. Once it's like, no, this is what is happening, it's very hard for me to change lanes. So if you paint me this picture where it's like, no, we good, we still there to us part, and then you maybe come to the realization that actually that's not what you want. Number one, you should articulate that when you come to that realization. And also, you shouldn't, what's the word I'm looking for? You shouldn't almost like try to force your partner, like give them an ultimatum, like, well, since you don't want what I want, so I guess we're over. Like, I feel like that's also a form of like emotional blackmail.
But who does that? Like, people you've been in a relationship for some time, then you start telling someone. It's like, you know, then I think if people are doing that, then it's not fair, and I don't think that would be the right person you should engage with, because you'll be hurt all the time. It will be as if you are the one forcing things. You should be open in a relationship, and so that you're not pressed inside.
You don't put too much of yourself. I mean, if you do decide to go forth with said relationship, in the hopes that maybe they'll change, or maybe you like this person, so you just want to stick around. My friend, don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband.
Exactly.
Don't let him stop you from finding your husband. Have fun. In the meantime, do what you do.
You know, it's like putting you in a small place and a hard rock. You can't, you know, like you can't decide. You're like, oh, I love him. I don't want to leave him. Of course, maybe he has, of course, such people. They'll have the good part, and the good part overtakes.
Yeah, so I think we gave some valuable insight.
Yeah.
Of course, it's like personal opinion or whatever. At the end of the day, it's subjective to you and how you feel.
Yeah.
I just feel like you shouldn't let someone drag you about.
Yeah.
And oftentimes such men who are like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. When you move on, that's when they get married, they have children, they give the next partner exactly what they said they didn't want with you.
That means that you are not suitable for them, and they didn't see a wife in you. Actually, those are the people you find that you've been in a relationship together. Then he gets married to your friend.
Like this is not like I'm getting married to, but my ex, the one you know. Remember how I would spend sleepless nights crying, fussing over this person. No, do this for me, do this for me. And it was always the bare minimum. Like just make time for me, because I don't really be asking for material things like that. Just like spend time and communicate to me. Talk to me maybe once every 2 weeks. Since Kwenzopita like 3 weeks, right? Now, like, he's in a new situation, which I'm happy for. I'm not a bitter type of person at all. But now you're doing everything, the absolute most, girl, for this new person they always say in that sentence, like, you might be the right one, but for the wrong person.
Yeah.
So it's not a you thing. Like, everyone does what the most for who they want to do it for. So if they're not doing it for you, let go and let God. There's someone who is going to do the most for you too.
And in relationships, there are red flags that we will always see.
Major, but we ignore.
But you ignore.
We are like,
because these are people who give you much attention. They give you like 100% love. But these red flags come, it beats and beats, and you ignore them. After all, he loves me. After all, he gives me money. He does this for me. He's good. Let me add, this is something that I can deal with. As time goes on, you are
build up to build up into a situation of your
that you can't even control.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, guys, that was our episode. Very short, but just to dip our toes back into our regularly scheduled programming. We'll probably be posting like once a week.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll see how our commitment goes.
Yeah.
So that was today's random thoughts. I almost said podcast. I'm so used to saying podcast. That was today's random thoughts episode. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Ciao.